The Story of Emma by Jane Austen. Emma is a novel written by Jane Austen, first published in 1815. It centers on the life of Emma Woodhouse, a young, clever, and wealthy woman who lives in the small village of Highbury. Emma has a strong sense of independence and believes she has a natural talent for matchmaking. After successfully matching her friend, Harriet Smith, with a man she believes is suitable for her, Emma becomes obsessed with arranging marriages for others, even when they don't necessarily want her interference. Emma is initially unaware of her own feelings and how they affect others around her. She misjudges characters, particularly her friend Harriet, and makes mistakes in matchmaking. Throughout the novel, Emma's relationships evolve, and she experiences growth and self-awareness. Her arrogance and pride are eventually softened as she realizes the importance of understanding others' emotions and desires. One of the most important events in Emma is when Emma realizes that her ideal match, Mr. Knightley, is the one she truly loves. This moment of self-discovery leads to a happy ending as Emma and Mr. Knightley eventually marry. The novel concludes with Emma becoming more emotionally mature and acknowledging the importance of genuine affection over superficial matches. While Emma is often considered a light-hearted and humorous novel, it also addresses deeper themes of social class, marriage, self-awareness, and the consequences of meddling in others' lives. One of the key themes is the nature of love and how it can be misunderstood or misinterpreted, particularly when driven by vanity, pride, or social expectations. At the beginning of the novel, Emma is portrayed as a confident and capable young woman. Having successfully matched her friend, Miss Taylor, with Mr. Weston, Emma believes she has a gift for pairing people. Her matchmaking endeavors throughout the novel often come from a place of misplaced confidence, and much of the drama unfolds as her well-intentioned attempts cause confusion and emotional turmoil. As Emma attempts to match Harriet with various suitors, she fails to recognize her own feelings for Mr. Knightley, who is the only person who understands her deeply and challenges her assumptions. The novel's events progress with several misunderstandings and romantic entanglements, including the arrival of Frank Churchill, who temporarily distracts Emma from her growing affection for Mr. Knightley. The complexity of these interactions highlights the uncertainties and misunderstandings that can arise in love, as well as the importance of honesty and self-awareness in relationships. One of the novel's key turning points occurs when Emma realizes that Mr. Knightley has loved her all along. She acknowledges her feelings for him and ultimately, the two marry, bringing the novel to a satisfying conclusion. Emma's journey of self-discovery and emotional growth is a central theme of the book, and it shows how personal growth and self-reflection lead to true happiness. Character analysis. Emma Woodhouse. Emma is both a protagonist and an unreliable narrator. Her overconfidence leads her to misjudge people and situations, which causes many of the complications in the plot. Her journey from youthful arrogance to emotional maturity is central to the novel. As she matures, she learns that true love is based on mutual respect and understanding, not manipulation or superficial matches. Mr. Knightley is the moral center of the story, representing wisdom and honesty. He is one of the few people who is not afraid to challenge Emma, making him a key influence in her character development. His steady and rational nature contrasts with Emma's impulsiveness and pride, and as their relationship evolves, he becomes the emotional anchor for her. Mr. Knightley's straightforwardness also reveals the importance of sincerity in love. Harriet Smith Harriet is a kind and innocent character who serves as a foil to Emma. She is more easily influenced and naive, which makes her vulnerable to Emma's misguided matchmaking. Harriet's character shows how Emma's actions, though meant to be helpful, can have unintended consequences on those around her. Frank Churchill Frank is a charming but deceitful character. His interest in Emma appears sincere, but he is actually secretly engaged to someone else. His character exemplifies how outward appearances can be deceiving, and his actions help Emma grow in her understanding of herself and others. Mrs. Weston is a figure of stability and kindness throughout the novel. She provides Emma with advice and guidance, often acting as a voice of reason. Mrs. Weston's relationship with Emma is built on mutual respect, and she helps Emma understand the complexity of human relationships. Language learning through Emma. For English learners, Emma provides a rich array of vocabulary, idiomatic expressions, and structures that reflect social interactions and relationships in early 19th century England. Here are some ways that you can improve your English by engaging with the novel. Vocabulary building. The language in Emma is sophisticated and formal, which helps learners expand their vocabulary, especially with words related to social class, relationships, and etiquette. Words such as matchmaking, courtship, and gentility provide a glimpse into the language of that era and the class structures that existed in England. Understanding these words not only improves vocabulary, but also provides cultural insights into British society during Austen's time. Dialogue and speech patterns. Austen's characters engage in witty and sophisticated dialogue that can help learners understand how people of different social statuses might speak to each other. For example, Mr. Knightley and Emma have a very different way of speaking compared to characters like Harriet or Frank. This contrast in dialogue styles can teach learners about tone, formality, and politeness in English. Understanding syntax and grammar. The syntax in Emma is often more complex than in modern-day English, with longer sentences and intricate structures. By reading and analyzing the sentence structures, learners can improve their understanding of English grammar, particularly the use of relative clauses, conditional sentences, and passive voice. Pronunciation practice. Listening to the audiobook or watching an adaptation of Emma provides an excellent opportunity to practice pronunciation. Learners can imitate the voices of different characters, paying attention to accents, intonation, and rhythm. This helps develop listening skills and the ability to recognize regional accents and dialects. Critical thinking and analysis. Engaging with the plot and characters of Emma encourages learners to practice critical thinking, a skill that is invaluable for language learners. By considering the motivations behind the characters' actions, learners can improve their ability to comprehend more complex texts in English. Additionally, analyzing the themes of the novel can help learners develop a deeper understanding of the language's nuances. Literary explanation of the characters. Emma Woodhouse, the protagonist of the novel. Emma is a charming and witty young woman who is confident in her abilities to guide others in their romantic lives. She is independent, self-sufficient, and a product of her wealth, which makes her a bit naive about the struggles of others. Over the course of the novel, she matures and learns that genuine affection, rather than manipulation, is the key to successful relationships. Harriet Smith. Harriet is a sweet but impressionable young woman who becomes the object of Emma's matchmaking efforts. She is often seen as a contrast to Emma, as she lacks Emma's self-assurance but has a kind heart. Harriet's character shows how Emma's interference in others' lives can lead to misunderstandings and emotional turmoil. Mr. Knightley. Mr. Knightley is Emma's close friend and ultimately her romantic partner. He is sensible, caring, and often serves as a voice of reason to Emma, pointing out when she is wrong. He has a deep understanding of Emma's character and is not afraid to challenge her when necessary. Frank Churchill. Frank is a charming and seemingly ideal match for Emma, but he turns out to be deceitful. His character demonstrates how appearances can be deceiving, and his actions contribute to Emma's growth as she learns to see beyond surface-level attraction. Mrs. Weston. Mrs. Weston is Emma's former governess and a constant source of guidance and wisdom in the story. She represents stability and kindness, offering advice to Emma when needed. Analysis of the events and language learning. The plot of Emma revolves around social interactions, self-discovery, and the importance of emotional intelligence in relationships. For English learners, this novel is rich in vocabulary related to social customs, relationships, and class structures. Austen's use of wit and irony also provides valuable opportunities to learn how tone and humor are conveyed in English. As Emma grows from a self-assured, somewhat naive young woman into a more emotionally mature person, readers can see the impact of her personal growth. The language used in the novel is formal, as was typical of the time, but it also provides insight into how dialogue can reflect character traits. For instance, Mr. Knightley's straightforwardness and Emma's more sarcastic or indirect speech illustrate their differing personalities. Learning English through stories. Listening to stories like Emma is an excellent way to learn English. It provides learners with a context for understanding vocabulary and grammar. For example, by following Emma's internal conflict and external actions, learners can see how language conveys emotion, social standing, and relationships. Additionally, the dialogue in Emma offers learners the chance to understand how conversational English varies depending on the context and the characters involved. By paying attention to how characters like Emma and Mr. Knightley express their thoughts, learners can improve their comprehension of sentence structures, idiomatic expressions, and vocabulary. The use of humor, irony, and subtle social commentary in the book also allows learners to engage with the language on a deeper level, enriching their vocabulary while learning to recognize different tones and styles of writing. Listening to the story while following along with the text can help reinforce pronunciation and sentence flow. This process allows learners to see how the language evolves throughout the plot and gives them insight into English society and culture at the time, further enriching their language learning experience. In conclusion, Emma is not only a delightful read but also an excellent tool for learning English. It provides rich, character-driven dialogue, insightful commentary on relationships and society, and a chance to engage with the complexities of language through storytelling. Emma is a delightful yet profound novel that offers English learners the opportunity to immerse themselves in sophisticated language, complex characters, and timeless themes. By reading or listening to the story, learners can expand their vocabulary, improve their understanding of grammar and syntax, and deepen their cultural understanding of the English-speaking world. Through Emma's journey of self-discovery and her relationships with others, readers not only enjoy a compelling narrative but also gain valuable language skills that will serve them in both personal and academic contexts. In conclusion, Emma is not only a brilliant work of literature but also an excellent resource for learning English. Whether you're interested in the intricacies of social interactions, the development of character, or the exploration of love and relationships, Emma offers a wealth of opportunities to practice and refine your English language skills.